Hello, welcome to the Juniper House Show. I'm Recon Rook 24602, Church Militant, Colorado Springs chapter. This video is about tying up the strong man, the antichrist. I want to start by saying I'm Catholic, and you got to ask yourself the question: why is there division in Christianity? There's many schisms and things, but the main schism that most Protestants follow is Martin Luther's schism, and he added the word alone to the phrase "we are saved by grace through faith." He added the word alone. It is not that we are saved by grace through faith alone, because the real scripture says we are saved by, it says we are left with faith, hope, and charity. The following God's will and commandments. The commandment is love. Love your God with all your heart. Love your neighbor as yourself. And the new commandment he gave us is to love. This is greater than faith. And all these churches and Protestant people put their bottom line as their faith. That to put the word faith alone in there, they're taking away from God and making it on themselves, making themselves responsible for their salvation, rather than focusing on the narrow gate, which is Jesus and the Eucharist. From the time of Pentecost, the righteous path, which was found by the saint. All of the saints were on the righteous path. Jesus says the path is narrow and constricted that leads to life, and few ever find it. That's the righteous path. Also in Corinthians it says, St. Paul says, I am laying a foundation, and there is one laying a foundation on top of that. And he says, be careful what you lay your foundation on, that it is on Jesus, especially, and I'm going to add this, not to add it to the text or anything, but Jesus in the Eucharist. All the Protestants, if this is a timeline and the righteous path, in following Martin Luther's path in this faith alone nonsense, all the Protestants branched off away from the Catholic righteous path, and they are building on a foundation without Jesus in the Eucharist. Now, even from Pentecost, in the early church, always had struggled with false teaching and stuff, and so the church kind of, as a people, kind of moves off center, off of the righteous path as a people, and its saints are the ones that bring them back into the narrow path. There's always been heresies, false teachings, and things like that. It was true that when Martin Luther broke off, the church was going astray, laxed in their worship and everything, and they were teaching some false things about like selling and buying what do they call those things? Indulgences and things. And yeah, the church was a little off in that. But God brought his saints like St. Ignatius of Loyola, St. Pius V, St. Charles, to fix that after during the time of Martin Luther. But Martin Luther, I've heard it said from the Protestants, oh, he went to the Catholic Church and they rejected him. Yeah, they rejected him because he had false teachings, false ideologies, and he broke away from the church to teach his false teachings. This was prophesied by St. Paul in second letter to Timothy, chapter 4, verses 3 and 4. They will gather teachers together and begin to be diverted to myths. And that is exactly what Martin Luther did. He was diverted to myths, and all of the Protestants, almost, with the exception of like the Church of England and things, all of those Protestants all followed his example, which was following the antichrist. Really, God said, "Do not let yourself be deceived." But all these people have been deceived. Why is there division in Christianity? When Jesus' teaching says, "A house divided against itself cannot stand," and with the narrow gate, the righteous path in the Eucharist of the Catholic Church, that's the narrow gate. Like the Good Shepherd says, they will come in and go out and find pasture, and there will be one flock. I am the gate, he says. And then Jesus Christ in the Eucharist is the narrow gate, and how you find the righteous path. Okay, so there's a why factor created by this division of the schism, and St. Paul addresses it with the allegory of the children of Abraham, Ishmael and Isaac, and through Isaac's child Jacob, the signs of the covenants, the signs, the prophecies, the wonders, all that which the Catholic Church even has up to this day. But the driving out of the child Ishmael, because Jesus Christ desires all men to be saved, is not a driving out of the child, is a driving out of the Ishmaelite Protestant mythical teachings that they're teaching, and offering a swooping wing of the Lord, like a hen gathers her chicks into one church, the Catholic Church. So I don't have time to go over all the myths that they teach, but for instance, they say, oh, don't pray to the saints, only pray to God alone, or don't pray repetitious prayers or anything. Well, Jesus Christ taught us the Our Father and told us to say it. Not only in history, he has taught others and taught us other prayers as well, like the St. Bridget prayers, the Holy Wounds prayers, the Golden Arrow, and the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and the Surrender Novena. He has taught us all these prayers and told us to pray them. But the Protestants don't have any recollection of his work through them, because they teach sola scriptura, which is a heresy in itself, I think, because when St. Paul says, "I am laying a foundation upon," and one is laying a foundation on me, every one of the saints lays on this foundation in segments all the way up through the timeline, up through the years, on the narrow path. You could say, okay, well, sola scriptura negates the fact that in the second generation Christianity, the ones taught by the apostles themselves, like St. Ignatius of Antioch, he was the one that called the church Catholic. Now, none of them call their church Catholic because they don't have the Catholic Church. This is a second generation on the foundation that was already set on the foundation of Jesus, with the foundation of Jesus. You can go up here a little ways. this is where Saint Dominic received the rosary from the Virgin Mary, and up here this is where this is where the Saint Faustina got the Divine Mercy Chaplet, and stuff. All these segments and on the foundation, but the foundation where they are laying, it's nowhere. The Sola Scriptura is a lie. They don't have the truth of Jesus. Sola Scriptura negates the fact that Jesus can come down at any time and teach us and be with us, and the righteous path God is teaching us, and all the stuff that the Catholic Church has, the prophecies, the signs, the wonders, the miracles, like Our Lady of Guadalupe on St. Juan Diego's Tilma. All these miracles and signs the Catholics have, but the Protestants don't have none of it, because their bottom line is faith alone, when in the real scriptures it says we are left with faith, hope, and charity. And the commandment is love. The greatest of those is love. Anyway, I hope you could hear me. I gotta get a microphone because my thing doesn't pick it up. Peace be with you.